Good morning. This is the BLAINESWORLD webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and get more information about previous shows at our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. And what we do each week is focus on different people and organizations in both Western North Carolina and throughout the country. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce a a longtime friend, Jeff Catanese, and also a new friend, Rose Pillmore. Is that it? And they're going to be talking about a really exciting new development, which I want to hear more about, called the Asheville Theater Alliance. But before we do that, Jeff already got the idea, but Rose, you can wave to all your friends and who are watching this. And Jeff, you can give me that wave. Jeff already did. Okay, guys, what I'd like to do first is just get to know you a little bit better. And Rose, since you and I have never spoken, I guess, before, met before, if you could give me kind of the Reader's Digest version of your background, keeping it under, 22 minutes? Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay, so you have a theater background, is that correct? And other stuff?
Theater is actually pretty new for me. I have a dance background. I've been dancing since I was a little kid. And I moved to Asheville about 10 years ago, and one of my dance colleagues recommended trying out for a dance musical. It was Footloose at ACT. And it was the first time I had done any musical theater or theater at all. And yeah, it was just so much fun in a way that I didn't always experience with dance. And so, yeah, I'm hooked. I left dance and I'm a theater person now.
And I know I got to see you also, you were just in Legally Blonde at
Mhm.
Hart. No,
In Wayne's, sorry, in Hendersonville.
Hendersonville, yeah. And that was a lot of fun too.
It was a ton of fun. It's the first show I've done there. And it was just such a great group and just, again, good energy. So, yeah, a lot of fun.
And what was amazing is I got so many people in that little small area. That was, and the cast was like 30 some odd,
It was 28 people and two dogs.
two
So
dogs.
it
And that
got,
was
yeah.
not a big area. That was a lot of fun. And so your background aside from that, did you study dance along the line?
In high school, I went to a performing arts high school in Jacksonville, Florida, and studied all types of dance throughout my life. So, but yeah, it's always just been kind of a hobby I took very seriously. So yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Great. And Jeff, again, if we can give the short version of your background, but I know Jeff as an actor, a director, as a bon vivant, as a comedian, you name it, Jeff's done it.
Raconteur, yes.
Raconteur. But Jeff, again, kind of summarize background for the folks who don't know you.
I have been living here in Asheville for almost 14 years, almost 15 years, I believe. And I'm a writer, director, actor, teacher, all of those things, co-founder of Attic Salt Theater Company, and now co-founder of Asheville Theater Alliance.
And I think I told you, but one of the bad things that happens when you direct is I don't get to see you act because I really enjoy seeing you as an actor. And of all the things you do you have a preference as to all of them? Do you have a favorite thing?
I actually prefer directing. However, I've heard from a couple people of late, when are you getting back on stage? And I was like, I didn't know you missed me. So perhaps this coming year I'll take a jump in and see.
And Rose, what Jeff doesn't say is the reality. A lot of directors won't say this, is they prefer directing because they don't have to memorize the lines. So
There,
um,
there's certainly that. But frankly, I have a big problem not being in charge. So
and Jeff, you're the classic example of something though, and somehow you carried it off. But I remember the one play you stepped in at the last minute you were directing, and then you had to perform in it too, and that was
yeah,
what was
that was the man who came to dinner.
right. And what was so cool about it, Jeff, because I've seen other people do this, but you carried it off so well because the script, I really couldn't tell it, Rose. Did you get to see that?
I
Did you see
didn't
me there?
know.
But you couldn't tell because Jeff had the script in his what in you in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I was, the role required me to be in a wheelchair for about 99% of the play. And so it was real easy to, and the role was a journalist So I just kept a journal in my lap the whole time, and it was very handy to have the script right there.
And I'm telling you, you carried it off as well as anybody's ever seen it because I've seen it a couple other times, but you stepped in and you couldn't really tell. So kudos to you for that.
Thanks.
So you guys have been doing a lot of stuff in the Asheville area. And all of a sudden, I've been seeing, I guess, information on social media. Somebody, and talk about who it was, came up with the idea for an Asheville Theater Alliance. And what was the idea behind that, Jeff? Who came up with the idea initially?
Initially, that was the Asheville theater community that kind of came up with the idea. But when us theater folk would get together, everybody had certain and the same sort of gripes about what is available to us, what is not available to us, what our difficulties are, and all of those things kind of built into a community-wide gripe to the point where someone said, oh, someone should put something together. And about 9 or 10 years ago, I started doing it on a very casual basis, just kind of getting different groups of people together, different theater companies together, different individuals in the theater community together, just to talk about what do we need, what would help us, those sorts of things, and also to offer panels, things that might help. I believe the first one I did was called Theater and the Press, and I had Allie Marshall,
I
who
remember.
was the editor of the arts page of Mountain X at the time, and I had another woman who was an editor on the Citizen Times. Regretfully, I forget her name. Uh, but we were just able to have a back and forth discussion about what does it take to get press recognition in town and things like that. And so many people in the theater community were so thankful for it that I decided, okay, let's just kind of keep this going. But I kept it casual the whole time, never incorporated the company, never even called it a company, just kind of said, hey, we're an alliance and we're going to have a round table. All theater companies are welcome. Let's sit around and talk about our upcoming seasons and things like that. But lately, especially post COVID, things have taken a turn, and the theater company is facing new challenges and new difficulties. And we also are presented with brand new opportunities, some of which I can't talk about just yet, but may bode very well for the theater community. And I decided it was time to do this right. So I incorporated as a not-for-profit organization, and recruited my good friend Rose here, who is just a dynamo, and decided, let's do this right. Let's do as much as we can do to help the Asheville theater community. And here we are on the
You
eve of the
mentioned
launch.
you mentioned something which is very significant to me about the fact you were saying about the press. And since I've been here, I guess I've been here just about the same amount of time you have. It's a shame, and some of this before Rose, but there used to be regular reviews in the Citizen Times. Can you believe it? And there was more coverage, and also that's why I'm looking forward to when you talk about opportunities at a later date. The fact that unfortunately some theaters are closing or some theaters are no longer in existence. So we have such a vibrant theater community, but it's hard to get involved in it, and not hard to get involved in it, but hard to find opportunities for it. And I'll go back to Rose then. Jeff said that he found you. So what was it? You were just kind of walking around one day and Jeff said, hey, you want to, it's like Mickey and Judy, you're the two of you. Instead of doing a
That was
show,
it.
what?
She was on a median on Patton Avenue, soliciting quarters, and I said, "Hey, you."
But I like that. But that's almost what it sounds like, Jeff. So instead of doing a show, Jeff came to you, Rose, and said, hey, let's start a nonprofit. I just love the concept that what did he say? Let's just start a nonprofit promoting the theater community.
It's something that I knew he had been doing, like he said, kind of casually for a while. And when he started getting the desire to like really kind of build it into something, and got incorporated, and started, looking into getting the nonprofit license. It just turned out that like every time we would hang out, we were talking about it. And it was just like, oh, what if we could do this? And what if we could bring this to the community? And all of these really great brainstorming ideas. And I was just instantly invested.
Well,
It was just an exciting thing to be part of. And so, yeah, and from there he asked if I could
well,
join it.
to Jeff's credit, to your credit, Rose, too, it reminds me of the fact that, too, what's very impressive is when the different theater companies, Jeff, work together, and where I really noticed this. Did you get to see Legally Blonde, Jeff? Did you see it?
I did not. I was
Okay.
not able to make it down there.
But anyway, what's so fascinating about it, Rose, I found that when I saw it, it was like a cheerleading section for all Asheville theater because half the people were either involved in Asheville Community Theater, whatnot, and they performed there. So to see them on the stage at Hendersonville was very exciting.
Yeah.
And you should have seen, Jeff, just I don't know if you caught it, Rose, but the cheers when certain people came on stage were just incredible.
Yeah.
That they just had this following. And so to me, it was very exciting that they've been able to, come together to support other theater. And Jeff, I guess you've seen that too, I guess, with Attic Salt. Have you seen that also, that when you've done something at Attic Salt, and you're really good at this as well, do you get support and backing from other theater companies?
Well, one of the great things about being in a small market or a small-ish market theater community is that as individuals, we have no choice but to collaborate and work together. At any given time, as an actor or a director, a freelance director, I'm going to be working with this company and that company and that company, but always with, if not the same people, from the pool of the same people. So as individuals, we already work together. Now, the same thing happens in the organizational aspect. There's always a situation where you say, hey, I saw a show a couple uh, weeks ago where you had a fake car on stage, and now I'm doing a show where I need a fake car. Can I borrow that? Can we rent it? All of those things. So there is a lot of collaboration and a lot of unity, even though a lot of it takes place surreptitiously. It's not necessarily something that has ever been organized. It's just kind of like, oh, you should talk to that person, and you should go talk to that person, and you two should collaborate. But this is the first time that the theater companies are hopefully coming together to collaborate, to share resources and knowledge and all of the things that they have at their disposals.
So then talk a little bit about then this concept of the Asheville Theater Alliance, because I know you've gotten the word out. I've seen it in social media, but what's very exciting about it, you're actually going to have a first, I guess, public meeting. Is this be the first upcoming public meeting?
We're calling it our launch because
Okay.
this will be our first meeting since we've been incorporated. And as well, we have built out our website to be functional, not as a finished product, but to be functional in a way that is helpful to all theater companies and all theater individuals. So we're going to introduce the website. We're going to reintroduce the company, as it were, and hopefully do some networking there and get some ideas, get some feedback from people. But the company itself, where we are right now, we are looking to base ourselves off of the website. So any person, any individual member of the theater community can go sign up for a marginal fee of $30, sign up to become a member, which means they can promote themselves as a performer or a creative or part of a crew, whatever it is that they feel they specialize in. And once we have enough individuals, once we reach critical mass, then the organizations, and we've already got some joining up. I know Nemesis has joined up, the Montford Moppets has joined up, and of course my own company, Attic Salt. But once we reach critical mass with individuals, the organizations might start to see, oh, this is a great place to recruit, to find people who can work with us and things like that. And one thing that we're really trying to do in terms of both the individual component of the theater community, but also the patronage of the theater community, is create a lot more cross-culturism. Just have people who, oh, I only work at Montford Park Players say, oh, I never thought I could go work at Different Strokes as well. And, it's like, yeah, maybe it's time to start looking at other places you can work and start sharing those resources. And as well, in terms of patronage, what we have found in the theater community is that there's very little crossover. So you might meet someone who says, yes, they're a theater patron. And then when you ask them, what have you seen lately? They may say, all of the shows at NC Stage, but nothing else necessarily. And a large part of that is because we as a community are failing to let people know there are other theater opportunities out there. And this, we hope, will be a way to say, hey, we want you to still go to all the shows at NC Stage, but look, there's so much more out there, and create a theater patronage here in Western North Carolina.
And one of the things I love about the concept, and I think I've discussed this with you, Jeff, is that I find that a lot of theater folks, unfortunately, don't promote themselves, and so I don't know if Rose, have you seen this, but I use a line from Ken Blanchard, and he's a famous management theorist. And he says, if you don't toot your own horn, somebody else will use it as a spittoon, And I think Jeff is a classic example of somebody who does, I think, a fantastic job promoting yourself and stuff at
I
Salt.
thought you were going to say who spits in other people's horns. Yeah.
You beat me to it. But anyway, what's so good about this, though, is I find it hard, and that's what your website will give people the option to do this, is they don't promote their own stuff, and I just find it hard to believe, Rose, that they don't invite people to their own shows. They don't tell them about their own shows, and they expect, and Jeff, you and I even talked to this at Salt, they expect that you to do all the work, and you'll do most of the work. But boy, does it help when other people invite people to come to their shows. And so I think you're spot on with that idea. Talk about, then you mentioned the website. Rose, are you in charge of the website, or will you be administering it?
Okay. Yeah, I'm
so
doing
in charge
heavy
of
lifting
the
on that.
website.
In your spare time. So first of all, what is the website?
It's AshevilleTheaterAlliance.org.
Okay, and we should, most importantly, I have to ask you how to spell theater.
We are spelling it E-R-T-H.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're spelling it E-R, but honestly, no matter how you spell it, you'll find us.
Oh,
So.
good thinking.
We grabbed both, yes.
We grabbed both.
Very clever. But how come I'm just curious. So I'm looking at it in front of me. Yes, Theater Alliance. How come the choice of ER versus RE?
Oh, that's going to be a Jeff question. He picked it.
Oh, we'll blame Jeff then.
Well,
Yeah.
I find in several cases, ER indicates theater as a whole, whereas RE has traditionally meant a specific
Okay.
theater. And you may note that Attic Salt Theater Company is in RE.
That's what I thought. Exactly. But,
Yeah.
oh,
So
I
we
got it.
want to be the theater alliance, meaning all forms of theater and everything that theater can be, as opposed to just, you sit in an audience and watch a stage show.
But very clever on your part, though. You can get there either way. Is that right?
Oh, we're very clever.
So, Rose, if they go to this website, then I'll have to remember, because I'll go after the show to sign up. So if they go to the website, they can actually sign up on the website.
Yeah, registration is live.
Okay, they can pay for the membership right then and there.
You can pay for the membership. For, like Jeff said, for individuals, it's $30 a year. We did our best to make this as accessible as possible. And in fact, we've even had some people who, when they register, they have donated money towards like scholarship accounts for people who can't necessarily afford it, which we're very excited to see. but yeah, like kind of going back to how we were talking about people not being able to promote themselves, one of the things that we were excited to add to the website is a performance calendar. So as
Very cool.
organizations start joining our alliance, they can put all of their upcoming shows. And so, you know, when we're thinking about people from out of town who are looking for something to do on their visit, they can come to one spot and see everything that's going on that week in the not just theater, but the performing arts. So we're real excited for organizations to start joining and sharing those events with us.
So aside from the theater companies in the area and the shows in the area, so we'll have other things aside from actual theaters. You mentioned other kinds of things that'll be posted there. What other things would be posted there?
So what we're looking at as far as you know, it could be dance
Okay.
companies or comedy shows, you know, people that are doing stand up or open mics. As long as they're a member of the Alliance, we're happy to promote any kind of live performing arts. That's really what we're going for.
Now, will you also be on other social media, I assume?
So we're starting with Facebook because since Jeff has created this going on about 10 years now, Facebook already had a pretty good following and it was an easy place to start. But we are currently working on our TikTok and Instagram. We're just there's not much there. The accounts are created, but we haven't really done much on it yet.
Because it's funny, as you say that, it shows how I have changed as well, because I'm a Facebook kind of guy too, but now I have to move over to Instagram. That's what people follow. And TikTok, I'm not doing it yet, but I guess that's an age thing. So it's Jeff, us old guys, Jeff and me, have to kind of get with it. So you will be on all the social media at some point in time.
I mean, that's definitely the goal. We kind of caught ourselves off guard at how quickly this grew for us. You know, it was an idea, like I said, that we were just kind of talking about casually, and the next thing we know, it's been a month and a half since we really put our foot on the gas, and now we have our launch coming up this week.
And
And
Jeff,
I'm still looking at a Friendster and a MySpace account. So,
talk about the group itself. So you were telling me off the air. So you now actually have a board, and you got
mhm.
a board going nonprofit. Can you mention some of the folks on the board as well?
Absolutely. We assembled our board specifically from people within the theater community who had this similar sort of, oh, if only we had, oh, if only there were, and things like that. And people we thought would be very excited to help Rose and I put in the work. As you probably know, the prevailing knowledge of boards is work, wisdom, or wealth. And it's really tough to find wealth in the theater community. So we're going for work and wisdom. And I think we assembled a board that comprises both. We've got Amara Brindell. Is it Brindell, Rose?
Mhm. Yeah, Mara, yeah.
Brindell. Mara Brindell, who has been an actress in the area for many, many years and does so much in terms of facing people, good schmoozer, much better than me. So we asked Mara to join. Rodney Smith, who has a tech background, but is also a fantastic photographer, as well as a director and actor. And he's been helping us out on our tech side as well. And Melon Weddick,
Yeah.
who you may know as the artistic director of Nemesis Theater Company, who does wonderful work and is one of our greatest cheerleaders. She was the first one I asked to join the board because she has been very, very vocal about we need something to bring the community together. And
And
that's who we assembled.
and talk, Jeff, also, not Jeff, I'll turn it over to Rose. Talk also about in terms of lunch. So it's going to take place this coming Wednesday. The date is the 28th. And
28th.
what's going to happen, Rose, on the 28th?
So it's a little bit of an introduction, just so that we can kind of tell people what we're about, what we're hoping to achieve, get them kind of an overview of the services that we currently offer, which is quite a few, and all of the ones that we hope to offer in the near and distant future. So it's starting there. And I'm gonna mispronounce his name. Edward.
Edwin
Edwin.
Arnuden.
Okay.
Okay.
Arnuden. I'm not
Thanks.
even sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's he
We
going
also
to be
have,
doing?
I'm sorry.
What's he going to be doing?
So we're gonna have like a little conversation with him. He is a writer for the Mountain Express and a
We'll do
creator.
some juggling, interpretive dance.
And he's also a writer and owner of Asheville Stages. And so just a kind of an informal chat about how do you market yourself when you're in the theater and what makes a good review and things along those lines, kind of his area of expertise.
And
Um, and
to
then
his
once
credit,
that's
by the way, if I could just mention to his credit also, is that especially when the Citizen Times stopped reviewing plays, his became the game the game in town, and he's done a great job, I think, with that. So he has reviews,
yeah.
and it was so hard for theaters to get publicity out without having reviews done. So that's something to look forward to. So he'll be aside doing all the stuff Jeff mentioned, he'll juggle and do all this other stuff as well. And Jeff, I should ask you, is he providing the food also? Is there going to be food at this event?
There will be no food.
Oh,
Um, bring your own if you wish. That's fine with us. But no, we anticipate it being as most Asheville Theater Alliance events have been, to be very casual. And yes, we'd love to offer food, but we're just starting out. I can barely afford food for myself. So yeah, we're trying to keep it very casual. If someone wants to bring their own food and drink, that would be great. But otherwise, we're happy to provide some water and great company.
and how long do you see the event taking place? How long will it run?
Well, the doors are going to open at 6:30. So everyone has the opportunity to come in, mingle, do some networking if they wish. We're going to get going with the festivities at about 7 o'clock. And I don't anticipate the actual event lasting longer than 8 o'clock, but people are more than welcome to hang around, do some more networking, collaborate, all the things that ATA wants to take place. So
And again, for
hopefully
the
it'll last a while.
benefit of the folks who don't know where Attic Salt is, Jeff, if you could mention that.
Attic Salt is up in Woodfin. It's at 2002 Riverside Drive, Studio 42O. And you can see the front of the building on Riverside Drive. And even if you do not, there is plenty of parking around the back. If you've ever been to the High Five Coffee House that's down there by the river, we are the big building in front of that.
And talking about hidden secrets, it's also one of the great places that a lot of people don't know about because it's a great place to have shows, rehearsals. You do so many cool things there as well. To wrap up, just a couple of things, Rose. Again, if you give one more time the website, people want more information. The best thing is go to the website. What was it again?
Yeah, it's AshevilleTheaterAlliance.org. And we've got information about the organization. And also, if you'd like to know more or register for our launch on Wednesday, we've got information on the website for that as well.
And I guess you'd like them to register for the event, but even if they don't register, they can come and stop by. Is
Yeah,
that okay?
absolutely. We're going to be there. So stop on by.
Okay. Or even better, you convinced me to sign up, but they'll be able to sign up on the website, or they can sign up on Wednesday. They can register to be a member of the Lions.
Yep, they can register now. It's ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
they
for
can
sharing that.
register now. And after we present about what the Alliance is doing, we have a QR code. People can buzz it right up on their phones, sign right up right there.
And lastly, if I can ask you both, in terms of after we get the Alliance off the ground, which I think is a great accomplishment, that you did it also, even though it's been 10 years or whatever, you've done this also, this launch is such a cool idea. Aside from this, Rose, do you have any theater plans you can share with folks that you'll be doing next couple of months?
Yeah, I've got some. I'm hoping to audition for the Christmas Carol at at ACT. Mark Jones is directing that one, so I'm hoping to audition for that. But that's the only thing I've got on my plate right now.
Okay, well, keep us informed, and you have a great website now. You can publicize this ad. So tell us all the stuff you've been doing. Jeff, again, you always amaze me in terms of 27 different things you're doing. And again, to your compliment, and you and I once discussed this, but I think you're a great example of somebody who's gone beyond just Attic Salt. That you've done stuff at ACT, done stuff at Parkway now. You've done stuff, right? You've done stuff now at SART too.
Yeah, at SART, I mean, yes, a lot of the theaters.
Okay.
It's actually a real joy for me to be a freelance director. It's nice to have my own company, and it's nice to produce with my own company, but it's also really wonderful to work in different theaters with different people.
Yep.
And experience how they do it, but also what resources they bring to the table.
The only
So,
thing I don't see, I'm looking at behind you, I don't see your roller skates though, in terms of how you get back from, all these different places you go to sort of simultaneously.
well, since I moved from New York, I've had to buy a car, so
And Jeff,
but yeah, you can see all the different companies, not all of them, but many of them that are represented right behind me that I've worked with.
and if somebody wants to keep track of you aside from the Alliance, is there a best other way to get in touch with you? Facebook, website, email?
The best way, yeah, you can always reach out to me via Facebook. You can always reach out to me through atticsalt.org, which is my theater company's website, or go right through the AshevilleTheaterAlliance.org website, and you can always find me.
What I love about that, that'll be kind of a clearinghouse, which is such a great idea for everything, interesting idea that will people eventually be able to have their own email address using the Alliance?
So we're not doing email addresses, but we do have private messaging. So
Okay,
yeah, so if members can talk to each other,
I love it.
yeah.
And same question of you, Rose. If folks want to track you down or find out what you're up to, what's the best bet aside from the website we're talking about?
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but you can also email me at rose@ashevilletheateralliance.org.
Okay, anyway, I'd like to thank both of you for being my guests on this special edition of Blaine's World webcast. Also, I thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti. I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday.
Great. Thanks so much, Blaine.
Fantastic. See
Great.
you then, Blaine.